performed pre-flight inspections, post-flight inspections, periodic maintenance, and yeah, periodic was when a plane accrued so many hours, it had to be inspected, and it was a more in-depth inspection than the daily routine inspection.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm assuming you had a normal work schedule. So, and when you were in New Jersey, when you had, let's say, downtime or off time, what did you do for recreation?
We basically went to a little town called Mount Holly. Went to Trenton, New Jersey, but I had a roommate who lived in New York, and the majority of the time I'd go home with him. He had a family that lived in Harlem, and most of my time was spent in Harlem when I was off.
Okay. Okay.
And then I started to date his sister, so it was, and she was a model, so it was pretty nice.
Yeah. So what do you think of New York, the big city, being from a small city?
Well, New York is the loneliest place in the world until somebody introduces you to somebody. It's not a place where you just meet people. It's always a situation where you have to go with somebody who's going to introduce you into a group. You know, people are very standoffish if no one knows who you are.
Right. Okay.
But New York was nice.
Okay.
I had a chance to go to Rockefeller Center. I think I visited Guggenheim. Spent a lot of time at Apollo. Well, my roommate, his brother-in-law was Harold Jackson, who was a big-time promoter. And I used to go to the Apollo every Saturday with him, and and he was the MC at Palisades Park, which was a famous park. And I met a lot of celebrities. I met quite a few celebrities through him.
Okay. Well, that sounds like you had a nice good social calendar there.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How long were you at McGuire Air Force Base?
I was at McGuire Air Force Base the duration of my tour, except for my voluntary 90 days staying in Vietnam.
Oh, okay. All right. So, tell us about that. You know, kind of explain that to us. You say your voluntary stay. Explain that to us.
Well, they were asking for volunteers. They put out a notice they wanted volunteers to go to Vietnam because they went, you know, they asked volunteers first, then they would, you know, force the guys to go to Vietnam. And me and about 4 of my buddies, we signed the papers to go to Vietnam, and we were gone much faster than we thought. But like in a week's time, we were gone.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, when was that? You know, recall what month and perhaps what year?
Yeah, it was in 1966. A couple of weeks before Thanksgiving.
Okay. Okay. It would have been November of 1966.
Yeah. Okay.
And tell us about that trip. Once you got orders to go, just tell us about what happened, and I'm assuming your flight, and what stops you made on the way.
Well, I was surprised. We flew out Northwest Airlines.
Oh, okay.
Being in Air Force, I expected to be on a military plane. We flew Northwest Airlines. We flew out of McGuire Air Force Base. We flew to from there to Seattle, Washington. And from there, we flew to Hawaii. I was surprised in Hawaii. I expected to have some, pineapple, natural pineapple. They opened some cans of Dole pineapple and gave us a couple of days, And then we had a nice layover there, and we left there and ended up in Vietnam.
Okay, what part of Vietnam?
Saigon.
Saigon? Okay.
Tunson Air Base is based